Hello and welcome to the 15th episode of Educhat with Dr. Sujit. I get so happy and excited whenever I want to answer your questions because there are so many interesting questions that we get every week, and you people are really getting engaged, really, and I'm so happy that, this episode series is helping you to take your practice to the next level. So today I'm going to answer three questions, very good questions in this particular episode. And I want you to stay and watch this episode till the end because there is a special invitation for you which I'm going to offer, and you can continue your learning journey with me and take your practice to the next level. So stay tuned. And as you know, we are going to select the best question of the week, and the person who asks the best question of the week is going to get a complimentary copy of my international bestseller book, New Age Dentalpreneur. So let's begin with this 15th episode. And today, behind the camera, the voice of the question is Rishabh. So Rishabh, what's the first question?
Dr. Amit Oswal is asking, looking to brand my dental clinic and start a chain of clinics in the future.
Okay, so the question is about branding the dental practice and starting the chain of dental clinic in the future. So let me tell you, Dr. Amit, number one, it is not easy at all. Okay, it's very, very difficult to do it because in order to bring the franchisees and the branches of your clinic, the most important thing you need is you need a system in place. Remember, people are not replicable. If you do very good dental work, you cannot create, hundreds of Dr. Amit around you to handle 100 franchisees. But if you have a foolproof system, the system which is scalable as well as sustainable, then you can create multiple branches. Because people cannot be replicated, system can be replicated. Now, the biggest question and the challenge is how to create that system. And before you create the system, you need to ensure that you take your practice to the level where your practice is governed or functioned by system and not by you. You should make your practice system dependent rather than person dependent. And in order to make it happen, you will have to delegate and eventually automate your practice in such a way that your practice is not just functioning in your absence, but even growing in your absence. Yes, you heard that right. So delegation and automation is the secret. Then you need to build your brand and the brand of your practice in such a way that people are willing to buy your franchise. Think about it. Any practicing dentist who is already practicing or want to start a new dental clinic, why that person should start with you? Why they should take your brand? Why they should take your franchise? Okay? You need to answer your why. You need to answer their why. And you need to build your brand in such a way that answers everybody's why, including the patient's why patient should come to your franchisee, your clinic, as compared to other clinic. There are so many dental clinics around. So I'm sure you understood that it's not very easy. In fact, honestly speaking, it's very, very difficult. Because I have also started recently, franchising my dental clinic, Smile Excel. So we are coming up with we will be having 5 franchisees by the end of this month. And then our next phase of expansion plan is really big. But then you need to build your brand accordingly. You need to build the brand of your practice accordingly. And you need to first delegate and automate your own practice in such a way that it is system driven rather than person driven. And then only you can think of replicating the system which is sustainable and scalable. So if you still want to do it, all the best to you. So Rishabh, next question.
Dr. Rutuja is asking, which one is profitable, rental place or buying a new place for clinic?
Okay, good question. Rental practice or having your own clinic? Now, the answer is very simple. It depends upon your financial bandwidth, right? See, if you have a lot of money with you, where you can directly, outrightly purchase the clinic space and you can very easily afford it, even if with the loans or whatever, but you can easily pay the EMI, you have that financial provision or the bandwidth, then you can definitely go for it. But then if you're someone who is just starting a practice, or maybe even if you are already into practice, but if the cost of the real estate is very high and comparatively the rent is low, then you can definitely continue to be in a rental practice. Now, one of the biggest challenge with the rental clinics or places is, your landlord can say you that goodbye at any given point of time. And therefore, you should ensure that you do that lease agreement for a long period of time, right? Financially speaking, it's very simple. If suppose the cost of real estate is, say, 100 rupees, okay? So the 1% rent per month is 1 rupees. But if you are getting the rent at the rate of like 3, 4, 5% per annum, then a rented place is always better, right? And if you have a financial provision where you can outrightly purchase the place, you can definitely go ahead and do it. But if not, don't overstretch yourself so that you will lose the sleep, and have that sleepless nights. Don't have that unnecessary, don't add that unnecessary stress in life, and just ensure that your landlord is allowing you to be there for a long duration of time. And by the time you do your savings, you invest your money, grow your money, and you can have your own place in the future. Wonderful. So all the best to you on that. So let's move to the third question. Yes, sir. What's the third question?
Dr. Rohit Sangvi is asking how to handle rude and arrogant patients.
Okay, wonderful question, Dr. Rohit. How to handle rude and arrogant patient? I'm sure every practicing dentist have this kind of experience where sometimes, right from the moment patient enters inside, that patient is just not behaving normal, or the patient is not kind to your receptionist, to your staff, to you, and whatever you explain, whatever you say, the patient is, the patient's body language, the patient's tone of voice, and then you are like, oh my God, what should I do now? I have not done anything wrong, but this guy is just too much, right? So, how to handle? It just reminded me of one of the very famous quote by Warren Buffett. Bad sign visible is the best indicator of bad sign invisible. What does it mean here? See, in our context, bad sign visible, the moment patient's body language, patient's tone of voice, or patient's behavior, which your friend has, is, arrogant, rude, or, the patient is short-tempered, make sure that you become more cautious. Because if the patient can behave like this with your staff, there are very high chances that the patient can behave in the same way with you. So you should become more cautious. At the same time, you should be very, very specific and particular in your communication, in your entire treatment presentation. Preferably do everything in writing so that if something goes wrong, you can always have the proof on your side. Bad sign visible is the best indicator of bad sign invisible. Whatever can, anything can go wrong in the future. That's one thing. Next thing, you remain polite and calm throughout the conversation. You can even audio record that conversation for your safety to have a proof, with you. There is absolutely no harm in this. Because, that rudeness, that arrogance can go to any level. And, so many of my course participants have seen and faced this kind of situation in their practices, and they come up with, that there was nothing wrong from our side, but it just happened. And sometimes in the heat of that argument, in the heat of that discussion, with such patient, you also get carried away. That's the third important thing. Do not get carried away, no matter what. Don't lose your temper. Don't, put your ego in that consultation. It's very important because otherwise it will become a two-way fight and It will be very difficult for you to handle if you make any mistake. Even one single sentence can put you in a deep trouble. So remember to handle it well. First, be cautious. Second, be precise. Okay, in your communication, presentation, recording, record keeping, everything. And third, do not put yourself or your ego into the conversation. See, you are there as an expert, as a professional. Your job is to explain everything to the patient. And if patient agrees, you do the treatment. If the patient doesn't agree, still stay calm. Let the patient go. There are, sometimes it's always said in the stock market that the best trades sometimes are the trades that you do not take. So let me tell you, sometimes the best patients in the practice are the ones which you do not do. Okay, so you handle it well, and I'm sure this is a very powerful question and everybody would be benefited with this answer. Right? So with this, let's come to the end of the 15th episode of Educhat with Dr. Sujit. And the best question of the week, obviously, was of Dr. Rohit. I really liked answering this because, I really like handling such challenging patients. Yeah, in 2+ decades of my experience as practicing dentist, I have really handled such kind of patients very, very nicely. So, Dr. Rohit, congratulations. You win the complimentary copy of my international bestseller book, New Age Dentalpreneur. Just shoot an email to us and I will be glad to send that copy to you. Happy reading, happy learning, keep growing and keep connected. So, everybody, share this video with, at least one of your friends to whom you think this will be beneficial. And I promise you in the beginning that stay till the end because I'm going to give you a special invitation. Guys, I don't know if you know this. Okay, I have a very, very powerful online course and the course community of more than 2,500 practicing dentists from around 16 countries in the world. So if you are still not part of my online community, I want you to sign up for my upcoming free webinar where I'm going to decode the entire mind map, how to grow your practice, and at the same time, talk about my course community. And you should just grab the opportunity, jump into my coaching curriculum, coaching system. As I told you in the beginning in one of the question answers is everything should be system driven and our community is also system driven. There have been miraculous results people have found in their practices after joining our community. The practices have gone up anywhere between 25% to 500% in less than 2 years. So if you are missing on it, you trust me, you really are missing something big. Okay, so just join my upcoming free webinar. The link is there in the description and I'll see you inside my community. This is Dr. Sujit Pardeshi signing off as of now and I'll see you in the next episode of Educhat with Dr. Sujit. Thank you.